Hey and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's begin with our daily news. Paul Merson makes Gabriel Jesus claim when it comes to Arsenal's starting 11. Paul Merson has been speaking about Arsenal and has made a big claim about the returning Gabriel Jesus in the first 11. Jesus is back from injury at the perfect time for Arsenal. Heading into the international break, the Brazilian has come off the bench in recent games to good effect to boost the Gunners' title hopes. His injury had rocked Arsenal before Christmas. However, the likes of Edin Ketia and since Leandro Trossard have ensured Mikel Arteta's side remain top, and Merson, writing for Sky Sports, claims that at the moment there is simply no way Gabriel Jesus starts for Arsenal. He said, Gabriel Jesus doesn't play at the moment. For me, he's been out a long time. Trossard has come in and hit the ground running. Look at Arsenal's last three league games: 3 goals, 4 goals. It's not like they are short of goal scorer. Jesus is an unbelievable player to have on the bench. He's got the patience. It's like having a transfer window now, and Arsenal buying Jesus. It's huge. Jesus will be hoping to regain his place in the starting 11 after the international break. However, he knows he faces a tough task with Gabriel Martinelli also scoring again this weekend. Merson makes a good point about Jesus and Trossard here, but at the end of the day, the Brazilian is a class above. He was signed for Arsenal to get them over the line and winning trophies, so now he is back. He simply has to be starting games. Who Arteta picks around him is the more challenging decision, really. Trossard has looked superb, but then Saka isn't getting dropped, and Martinelli is flying again as well. This is a nice problem for Arsenal to have, but Gabriel Jesus has to start. It's that simple. Leandro Trossard admits he is shocked by how often Arteta's picked him this season. Arsenal new signing Leandro Trossard has admitted he is played a lot more minutes for the club than he expected. Trossard was speaking to the press via Reuters while away on international duty with Belgium. He goes into the break in fantastic form, having broken into Arsenal's starting lineup. Signed as a versatile backup to Arsenal's regular front three, the injury to Gabriel Jesus presented him with an opportunity to start. He quickly took Edin Ketia's place in the side and has gone to start 5 of Arsenal's last 6 league games. In that time, he has also recorded 6 assists, including 3 in 1 half against Fulham. Gabriel Jesus has now returned from injury and earned his first start against Sporting in the Europa League. However, Leandro Trossard could still be called upon to play plenty more minutes before Arsenal's season is over. The 28-year-old has proved he can offer something different to Arsenal's other attackers. Asked about his first few months at the Emirates, Trossard said, I maybe didn't expect to play that many minutes, but injury helped me a bit. I am, however, more than convinced of my own capabilities. I arrived in a great group filled with great players. Trossard was brought in for £27 million in January, but Ali McCoist has already said that deal looks like a great value for money. The Belgian has needed next to no time to adapt to his new surroundings and has slotted into Mikel Arteta's system perfectly. With 10 games to go, and Jesus' fitness improving quickly, it will be interesting to see how many minutes Trossard ends up playing for Arsenal this season. Arteta suddenly has a job on his hands trying to keep a number of key attackers happy during the run-in, while the notion of his decisions being for the greater good may work during a title race next season could be more tricky. With Bukayo Saka and Martin Odegaard virtually impossible to drop, it leaves 2 positions left to fill. Even before Arsenal potentially bring in any more signings, that could be a dilemma for the Spaniard to face in the near future. National media slam Arsenal's Jorginho for his display in Italy versus England. Arsenal midfielder Jorginho was in action for Italy last night as England roared into Naples and took a priceless 2-1 win. The Three Lions were in fine form in the opening 45 minutes before running out of steam a bit in the second period. However, there was enough in the locker to see the game out. England had good performances from a number of players from Arsenal, City, and Man United. Bukayo Saka was a threat. Jack Grealish played well down the left, and in midfield, the likes of Rice, Bellingham, and even Calvin Phillips helped England dominate. The same cannot be said, though, for Arsenal new boy, Jorginho. The experienced Italian looked a mile off it as Bellingham showed his class for the Three Lions. And giving Giorgino a rating for his performance, The Guardian could only muster up a 5 out of 10 for the former Chelsea man. The Guardian wrote, Italy's conductor was unable to cope with Bellingham's pressing. He repeatedly lost the ball and looked powerless against England's physicality in midfield during the first half. Jorginho's signing was met with mixed reaction from Arsenal fans at the time, but since signing, he has done well and scored a crucial winner at Villa Park last month. The midfield three for England last night seemed to have too much energy and legs for Italy. This man Jorginho was never in the game, and he simply looked a shadow of his best self. Of course, this isn't to write him off completely. Nobody in Italy blue really performed too well, and Jorginho was one among many to look tired. Arsenal fans won't be overly concerned by this one-off game. However, those that had reservations before he signed will point to this as an example of where he is lacking. Arsenal ready to bid for Ibrahim Diaz. Arsenal are now reportedly ready to bid for AC Milan star Brahim Diaz, a player who knocked their North London rivals out of the Champions League this month. Mikel Arteta has a wealth of talented attacking midfielders at his disposal, with Martin Odegaard, Fabio Vieira, and Emile Smith-Rowe battling it out for a place in his side. Yet, the Gunners have been linked with moves for players in that role recently, including names such as James Maddison and Gabri Vega. With Arteta seemingly keen to strengthen his options in midfield, Corriere dello Sport claims that Arsenal are ready to bid for Diaz, who is enjoying a brilliant loan spell in Milan. The Italian outlet claims via Sport Witness that Arsenal are ready to open negotiations with Real Madrid over Diaz. Arteta's men are said to be willing to present an offer, as Milan are attempting to lower the buy option they had agreed with Madrid last summer. With Stefano Pioli's men battling it out for Champions League qualification, their move for Diaz could be impacted if they miss out on Europe. Diaz is enjoying a decent season in Serie A, as he is netted 4 goals and provided 2 assists for the Rossoneri. The Spaniard also helped to propel Milan into the Champions League quarter-final this month at the expense of Arsenal's bitter rivals Tottenham. He scored the only goal over the course of 2 games, while he started in the first leg at the San Siro. Diaz has worked with Arteta in the past at Manchester City before he sealed a switch to the Bernabeu. He is really kicked on since leaving the Etihad Stadium, and Arsenal have certainly benefited from picking up players that have worked with Arteta in Manchester. It remains to be seen whether or not Arsenal will bring in yet another attack-minded midfielder though, especially as they have more pressing concerns in the deeper areas of midfield. Brighton CEO explains why Arsenal were blocked from buying Moses Caicedo. Failed transfers seem to leave many unanswered questions. One such failed transfer that must have left some questions for Gunners is the failed winter pursuit of Moses Caicedo. The Brighton man was the one Mikel Arteta identified as the missing link in his midfield in his quest to run away with the 22-23 league title. Unfortunately, 3 bids of over £60 million didn't convince the Seagulls to let their midfield engine go. Brighton CEO Paul Barber explained to the Beautiful Game podcast that their project and ambitions were heavily reliant on Caicedo and that letting him go in the middle of the season would be a mistake. He said, "For us in January, selling Moses was not a good move. He was one of our best players at the beginning of the season, and we were in a great position in the league, still in the FA Cup, and there was a lot of football to play. We want to try and achieve our best ever finish in the Premier League, and if we do that, there is a chance that we could qualify for European competitions. The stakes were big for us in the second half of the season, and Moses was a big part of that. He is also a young player who is still learning this game. He is far away from the country that he was born in, and therefore we have a responsibility to do the best for the player long term as well as in the short term for us. We felt that was best served by keeping Moses with us, trying to do the best we can for the rest of the season, and what will be in the future will be. Moses is a top class player and such a lovely, and he has the potential to be anything that he wants to be. So this won't be the only transfer window where Moses is a popular attraction for other clubs. Listening to the Brighton boss admission of why they didn't let Caicedo go answers a lot of questions. Arsenal have scouted Rasmus Højlund, but price tag could go beyond £50 million. Arsenal are one of the clubs keeping an eye on Danish sensation Rasmus Højlund, who scored a hat-trick for his country last night. Højlund earned rave reviews for a devastating display of finishing as Denmark beat Finland in Euro 2024 qualifying last night. Of course, we already know Arsenal are keen on signing Højlund. Reports have claimed the Gunners could look to spend around £43 million on the young forward who is lighting up Italy and Europe right now. However, a fresh report from Calcio Mercato this morning claims that Højlund's stock could rise even further and that Atalanta are hoping to maximize his sale value. It's believed his hat-trick last night has instantly upped the ante, meaning that £43 million price tag is set to jump up. For Arsenal, this could mean spending more than they did to land a seasoned Premier League forward in Gabriel Jesus this summer. Arsenal paid around £45 million to sign Jesus from Manchester City. Højlund is not yet at the level of the Brazilian, but after being tipped to be the new Haaland by some, the Gunners might see it as money well spent. Dubbed a phenomenal talent by Ben Jacobs, it very much seems Højlund is the next one to watch in Europe. After doing so well in the market in recent times, the next few Arsenal go for will define their future really. Right now, this Arsenal squad just needs tweaking really. It either needs top quality and ready-made players brought in, or players for the future who are going to contribute to Mikel Arteta's revolution. In terms of Højlund, he does seem to be a very much a player to watch for the future. Whether or not he is a player for the here and now is another big question though. Joe Cole lavish praise on Arsenal target Declan Rice after England versus Italy. Arsenal fans will have been loving what they saw from England midfielder Declan Rice last night over in Italy. Rice is said to be one Arsenal's key targets in the summer, and he put in a stunning performance in Naples to show his class in the midfield. The West Ham star got himself on the score sheet as well to cap off a fine night. Of course, it was further evidence from Rice of the player he is becoming, and watching on for Channel 4 on the night, former Hammer Joe Cole was there to lavish serious praise on Rice for his performance. He said, "He was magnificent, best player on the pitch, took his goal well. Declan is just alive to it. If that is a center forward we are talking about, instincts and naturally ability. He was outstanding from start to finish, and it might get lost, but he was brilliant." Rice starting alongside Calvin Phillips and Jude Bellingham in England's midfield showed just what Arsenal are so keen on signing him. West Ham are believed to be looking to bring in at least £75 million for Rice. A cluster of clubs, including Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea, Man City, and Arsenal, are all thought to want him. Given how good the Gunners are already looking, there is some serious worry for the rest of the Premier League if they then sign Declan Rice as well. Last night, it just showed how good Rice has become. He dominated a midfield area packet with quality in a weird way. It simply showed he is now too good for West Ham and needs to make that step for Arsenal. This was just more evidence to back up why they want Rice. He oozes class, and the idea of him in that midfield alongside Partey and Odegaard is mouth-watering. Well, for Arsenal fans anyway. I will be uploading daily Arsenal news, so keep your eyes on the channel and don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate your support. Peace out.